Pushing that camera don't have to put an outfit on or something.
You look great, man. You guys together look great.
The first season was like incredible.
To keep it frank, he was doing the things to other people that was done to him he learned from. Russell Simmons, Clyde Davis. When those people are telling you that they were heavy into the drugs, they was heavier to beating women, these are behaviors. And things that with drugs, pills, drinking it can make this man into a monster, and that's what it did, it made him into a monster, bro. I'm with Puff and he's in the exotic bookstores and he's doing shopping. This is the first time I was ever in the exotic bookstore with Puff, so you know I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the shelves and stuff like that cause they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there as he going on, just looking at the places where he picking stuff from, and then he picked like quite a few of them down Sean Diddy. Combs has dramatically escalated his legal strategy by filing a lawsuit against his former bodyguard Gene Deal after Deal publicly signaled his readiness to testify in the ongoing federal trial against the hip-hop mogul. Diddy's lawsuit accuses Deal of leaking private information and breaching implied confidentiality, suggesting that the music executive is determined to intimidate or deter key witnesses from speaking under oath. Okay, he put him in the bag, so when I went by there and I looked up there and it said butt plugs, and I was like, hey yo, what are you getting this for? And it said butt plugs, and he be like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. Gene Deal's willingness to testify centers on his first-hand observations of the so-called freak-off gatherings, alleged substance-fueled parties where participants were coerced into intimate acts, details that Deal claims are essential to the prosecution's narrative of a criminal enterprise led by Combs. The timing of Diddy's legal counterattack is notable, coming just as opening statements are set to begin in Manhattan federal court, where Combs faces charges including racketeering, conspiracy and trafficking, with the trial expected to last several weeks and potentially result in severe penalties if convictions are secured. Every development, including this feud over Deal's testimony, carries enormous weight for both sides. Yeah, that picture is crazy, ain't it, Mham? And I told you Puff blew up like crazy when he said everybody thought I was lying. Gene Deal first emerged as a figure of interest when he publicly declared that he had no reservations about taking the stand if called upon by authorities to discuss his experiences with Diddy's security operations and personal conduct in interviews on platforms like The Art of Dialogue. Deal recounted instances where he witnessed guests at Diddy's events being unknowingly given spiked champagne, leading to blackouts and compromised consent, a pattern he says he observed repeatedly over the years. Sean Diddy Combs was once one of entertainment's most powerful mogul, accused of crime so heinous he faces the possibility of spending the rest of his life behind bars. He's denied all charges, and just a warning, this story contains accounts, descriptions and visual content of actual or alleged events that some may find disturbing. Mom, how are you? How are you feeling? Hey. Mom can't talk about the case at all. All eyes are on this New York City courthouse as the federal trial for disgrace mogul Sean Diddy Combs begin. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs goes on trial today. Combs is inside the courtroom, along with those prospective jurors. He faces multiple charges, including racketeering and sex trafficking. The musician, famous for hits like Bad Boy for Life, he described discovering his own girlfriend passed out in a car after accidentally consuming spiked champagne at one of these gatherings, an incident he cites as evidence of systemic coercion and danger within Diddy's inner circle. According to Deal, the events dubbed freak-offs were not isolated celebrations, but orchestrated showcases of power where video recordings were allegedly used for leverage and blackmail, contributing to a broader racketeering conspiracy. Charge in the federal indictment today was a monumental day when we're talking about Sean Combs P. Diddy Puff Daddy. At one point he also had the actual key to New York City, so to see him today facing trial on federal criminal charges is completely a downfall of who Puff Daddy, who Sean Combs was. Prosecutors alleged he used his power to force women into prolonged drug-fueled orgies he called, and then threatened them into silence. The freak-offs, according to prosecutors, were these marathons. Some of them lasted days, and they were fueled by ecstasy or other party drugs, and women were not allowed to leave day 2 of testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. The prosecution's star witness, Combs's ex-girlfriend Cassie Venter, is expected to take the stand today. So far the jury has heard graphic and very disturbing details from a man who says he was paid to have with Cassie Venter. He also testified that he witnessed the music mogul assault her on 2 separate occasions. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. So let's go live now to CNN anchor and chief legal analyst Laura Coates, right outside that courthouse in New York. Laura So tell us more about when Ventura will take the stand. That is really such a big focus for today. She will take the stand any moment now. Ariel's statements did more than just affirm long-standing allegations, they provided prosecutors with a vivid insider's account of how Diddy's organization allegedly operated beyond the public eye. In response, Combs has moved aggressively to discredit Deal, filing a lawsuit that claims defamation and unauthorized disclosure of proprietary information, ostensibly to chill further disclosures and deter other witnesses from cooperating with prosecutors. Legal analysts have pointed out that such a countersuit can serve not only to punish the ex-bodyguard, but also to send a signal to the courtroom that Diddy will not tolerate perceived betrayals, potentially shaping juror perceptions about witness credibility and loyalty. We are waiting to hear what might be explosive testimony from Kjersti Ventura, the linchpin of the prosecution's case. Remember, we were told by the defense yesterday this is the first time in 6.5 years since the death of the mother of 4 of Sean Diddy Combs' children, Kim Porter, tragically died of pneumonia, and the two of them will be in the same room face to face. The defense called a moment to witness closure. What we will witness, though, is testimony where she will try to bridge the gap over an 11-year period of what the prosecution has described as abuse and violence and coercion and intimidation, all to have her engage in these so-called freak-offs, days-long drug-fueled sex encounters without consent. But just now in the courtroom, I witnessed something truly interesting. They are arguing as we speak with the judge over whether Kjersti Ventura's husband can be in the audience. Kjersti Ventura has just taken the stand. You're going to watch and we will see in just a moment. Kjersti Ventura, visibly pregnant, due in less than a month or so, confronted face-to-face with Sean Diddy Combs, her boyfriend and lover of more than a decade, the first time they'll be together. Now they want to make sure that her husband could not be in the courtroom. The defense is saying they may call Mr. Fine, who, remember, is a physical trainer who Diddy hired to actually train Kjersti Ventura. The broader context of this conflict lies in the unprecedented scope of federal charges Combs faces, which span alleged offenses dating back to 2004 and encompass forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Under a RICO framework, prosecutors contend that Combs leveraged his business empire spanning record labels, event promotions, and security firms to facilitate and enforce these criminal activities. A narrative bolstered by testimonies from other insiders like Kjersti Ventura, who has already described graphic episodes of mistreatment or misconduct and coercion during her relationship with Combs. The trial began on May 12, 2025, under Judge Aaron Subramanian, with opening statements highlighting video evidence and communications that prosecutors say corroborate the various accounts and Deal's observations and identifies, I guess. He actually designed the artwork for Uptown Records, like the actual cat. Yes, he did for Uptown Records. Then later on, he went on to design the Bad Boy logo. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Dope mem. Okay. And then at one point, Puffy actually became part of same gang with you guys. Yes, he did. We were outside on 144th and 8th Avenue, and Puff used to always come and try to go to the parties with us. At that time, we was going to Tim Dog and Corey, I think. I don't know. Corey last night, Corey Jacobs or something like that. He was at UA. They had the butt naked crew. We was going to their parties. We was going to Peter's shoe party. We were going to UA Black and Gold Sparkles Entertainment, the skating rink, the just everything that was happening up Willie Burgers at night. And then we were also going to the Apollo Theater. So he wanted to hang with us. He wanted to hang with us because he was an intern for Uptown and he wanted to, get to know people from Harlem. So because D Ferg did that up logo for Uptown Records and we knew Tim, we knew Heavy D and everybody like that, he started wanting to hang with us. So then he just was there too much. And then somebody said, yo man, we just going to jump him in. You know what I'm saying? So if he got out of his car this particular day, he got out of the car, he was driving those Volkswagen Cabaret up with the cabriolet. Cabalet, alright, the Volkswagen Cabalet with the sunroof on it. They say, once we get
Yeah! We will scratch that off the list.
around and grab him, and then we just going to torture his ass. So like when that torching was like, we was right there next to the store, was outside. We'll get a bunch of Little Debbie cakes and everything, smash him in the head, sprinkle them with champagne and everything like that, and make them saying gang and everything like that. So when Puff came out the car, the little cats grabbed him, but Puff wiggled away from him and they didn't catch him until we was on 144th Street. They didn't catch him until he got to 127th Street. So that was like close to 20 something blocks. So they caught Him brought him back, you know what I'm saying? They roughed him up a little bit, and say, now you same game, you know what I'm saying? Okay, and Puffy, I mean not only was he an intern at Uptown, but he started doing his own parties, and he was really successful at the parties. Yeah. He was actually doing upside hype. Did you know unsigned hype on Monday nights? That was when our leaders of the new school where Buster Ryan was in and different groups. You know they would come there on Monday night and perform, and then on Wednesday night he had the red zone during parties, what he called Daddy's house. Diddy's decision to reject plea deals, as noted in recent court filings, underscores his confidence in mounting an aggressive defense even as the government readies to call high-profile witnesses like Gene Deal and Cassie Ventura to the stand. One unnamed witness referred to as victim number 3 has reportedly gone missing and has been uncontactable, raising concerns about witness intimidation, an issue that prosecutors say is exacerbated by alleged calls made from Combs's detention facility to potential witnesses, urging them to withdraw their cooperation. Phone records reveal hundreds of calls from the Metropolitan Detention Center to family members and associates, which the prosecution argues demonstrate attempts to undermine the integrity of testimony and obstruct justice. If you don't believe that they're going to try to hit him with those guns in there, they saving all that for last, the drugs, the guns, they'll do another superseding indictment and add those to her if he don't take the plea. But not only celebrities, I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there, he had princes in there, he also had a couple of preachers in there. Oh damn, is he talking about who I think he's talking about? Oh, you think is he Hallelujah Cat? Williams commented on that. Williams definitely brought him on a preacher amid these legal fireworks. Gene Deal's public profile has grown, earning him both hate mail and praise from those who view his willingness to testify as an act of courage against an influential figure in the music industry. Deal himself has said he does not regret speaking out, and that he went through every formal channel to raise concerns before going public, an assertion meant to distance him from claims that he is unethically profiting from sensational disclosures. Meanwhile, Diddy's lawsuit maintains that Deal's statements are false and damaging, and seeks financial damages and injunctive relief to bar further misbregent. And is there anything that you may want to confess tonight before you go in? I keep everything right here or right here, so angelic all the time. Legal experts caution that Diddy's retaliatory suit may backfire by drawing more attention to Deal's testimony and solidifying his role as a key witness in the eyes of the jury. Under RICO statutes, every witness with direct knowledge of enterprise activities can be vital, and Deal's detailed accounts of spiking, filming and coercion could significantly bolster the prosecution's argument that Combs oversaw a coordinated criminal network. At the same time, the defense may argue that Deal's motivations are tainted by grievances or the prospect of personal gain, inviting jurors to question his credibility, a strategy that Diddy's legal team appears to be setting in motion with their lawsuit now to Shan Diddy. Combs' investigation. New surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Kjersti, is at the scene of his arrest. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning to you, Robin. This is the hotel where Sean Combs was arrested a week ago. You can now see how that arrest went down this morning. Watch how federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others. When agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him, they place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs. His lawyer said Combs had come to New York 2 weeks earlier with the intention of turning himself in. He did not expect the agents to be waiting at his hotel last Monday night. Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself into a day earlier. Combs seen out and about in New York with his family, seemingly in good spirits. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking and prostitution charges, part of why 2 different federal judges denied him bail. This has to be 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous, and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility. Combs, who lived in this $50 million Miami mansion, is now in an isolated unit of a federal jail in Brooklyn. Known for miserable conditions, the special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include a leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them when Combs first arrived at jail. He was monitored for suicide. That's common for any high-profile inmate, but his attorney says Combs is not suicidal. Rather, guys, he's focused on defending himself beyond courtroom maneuvers. The feud between Combs and Deal reflects larger themes of power, loyalty, and accountability in celebrity culture, a case study in how high-profile figures leveraged legal tactics to control narratives and influence public.
It's a new day, constantly evolving. We came on the scene last year, we were the new kids on the block.
Opinion: Diddy's reputation as a mogul with a near-mythic persona clashes starkly with images of vulnerability and betrayal painted by insiders like Deal and alleged victims such as Ventura, whose civil suit ended in a $20 million settlement, but who remains committed to testifying to shed light on her experiences. The trial thus serves both as a legal reckoning and a cultural touchstone, raising questions about accountability for powerful figures and the challenges faced by those who speak out against them. But by the time this interview dropped, this is going to be out in the ether for sure. It's ways in this industry people go about doing things here. April 11th, last year, bad headache, asked my boy for a bill. I was gone for 20 days. I don't remember anything. What are some of the things that you heard behind the scenes that were going on before this indictment actually dropped? Well, I know he poisoned Jamie Foxx, talking about when, what was it, a year or two ago or so, when Jamie Foxx got real sick and everybody said he had a stroke. I was kind of careful about some of the things I said, but you know, now that I know that certain people off the street, the money is dried up. You know, so now it's time to play ball. According to new reports, while Jamie Foxx may have passed off his appearances at Diddy's infamous events as jokes, the man was actually there, and like Diddy's victims, he witnessed some of the worst parts of the industry. Well, it turns out that knowledge almost cost him his life. Did Diddy do something to him all this time? Oh yes, new details from a former bodyguard just revealed that Jaime's hospitalization was in fact directly tied to Jaime. In his words, the rapper's goal was to take out another piece on the board that could land him in cuffs. Is there any idea why Diddy would want to poison Jamie Foxx? You get called to testify if you on camera, and some of this footage. Did you notice that Jamie Foxx hadn't been publicly seen much since his hospitalization last year? That had to do with a lot more than just his health, per the claims of several industry players. Jaime was seemingly hiding for the whole time. When Jaime was out, for the industry insiders, did that to him. His life thing is Diddy seemingly never expected the actor to survive, let alone be able to stand on his own 2 feet again, but luckily for him he beat the alleged poison. And do you know what he allegedly claimed to do immediately after waking up at the hospital? He called the feds on Diddy. Folks, Jamie Foxx states in the special that Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, and he is the one to call the FBI on. His jury selection continues amidst delays and challenges, including prospects dropping out over fear and others dismissed for conflicts. The uncertainty only heightens dramatic tension in the courtroom and fuels media scrutiny. Outside observers note that jurors will need to wade through competing narratives, one portraying Diddy as a wrongly accused icon and another depicting him as an orchestrator of systemic misconduct. With Gene Deal's inside testimony at the heart of that conflict, the judge's decision to reconvene jury selection after weekend delays reflects the effort to safeguard fairness in a trial where intimidation fears are palpable. I believe he was a coward. There's no way he should have let that happen to his kids. What is this? That could be his sons. If that is accurate, I wouldn't be surprised, because the allegations put forward in that lawsuit implicated his sons. I think that was wrong. If them was the damn Rockefellers or somebody else, they wouldn't have had their kids handcuffed like that. I believe he knew what was going down, and he probably thought they wasn't going to do that to the kids, but they did. Gene, did you see him beat Kim? I said on that particular case, no have. I seen him rough Kim up. Yeah, I've seen her done that, you understand, and I've asked Kim, you alright? You good, y'all good? And she just look and stuff. He'll stop while I seen his wrist ripped up. I would testify that I seen his wrist wrapped up in a t-shirt. He told them they wouldn't let them know what they were doing, but it seemed like that something might happen before Labor Day. Wow, before Labor Day. Ultimately, the clash between Diddy and Gandil underscores the broader stakes of the trial: validation and justice for purported victims, reputational survival for a music industry titan, and the integrity of a legal process tested by power dynamics and high-profile spectacle. As proceedings unfold, every revelation from Deal's testimonies about spiking and coercion to Diddy's aggressive counterclaims will shape not only the jury's verdict but also the enduring public narrative about what happened behind closed doors at some of hip-hop's most notorious parties. Please.